عندها القلوب الحب أشهى إلي مما
There are no accidents in the unfolding of the real. Every leaf that falls, every ant that crosses your path, every crack in the wall, all of it is a verse in the sacred book of existence. Not written with ink, but with being itself. Ibn Arabi called the world a veil that reveals, a paradox of presence and concealment. He taught that God speaks not only through scripture, but through the ordinary, through what the ego calls small, random, or irrelevant. So what does it mean when ants appear in your home? The mystic does not swat them away and call it a nuisance. He listens. In the silent movement of their bodies, in their sudden gatherings, in their uninvited arrivals, there is something being whispered, not by the ant, but by the one who sent it. Because everything is a messenger, and the closer you are to your soul, the more obvious this becomes. To the untrained mind, an ant is an insect. To the awakened heart, it may be a question, a reminder, or even an answer. In the teachings of Ibn Arabi, God is not distant. He is not a being who intervenes only on grand occasions. He is Al-Qarib, the near. And his nearness is not abstract. It is woven into every moment of your existence. When ants begin appearing in your space, especially in ways that feel sudden or persistent, the mystic asks, what are they showing me about my state? Are they pointing to neglect, to hidden sweetness left uncovered, to broken boundaries, spiritual or physical? Ibn Arabi writes that the outer reflects the inner, that your physical space mirrors your spiritual one. And so, the arrival of ants is not merely a domestic issue. It can be a signal that something in your life has gone unattended, that something small has grown large through silence, that something sacred is being stirred from within. Mystics are trained to read reality like a text, and in that reading, even ants can become verses. It's not superstition, it's attention. And attention, Ibn Arabi tells us, is a form of worship. There is a story in the mystical tradition. A man, lost in despair, sat weeping on the floor of his empty home. No prayers helped, no words brought comfort. But then, from the crack in his wall, he saw a single ant carry a crumb 10 times its size. It struggled, stumbled, but never stopped. Something shifted, not in the world, but in him. That small act, unseen by most, dismissed by many, became a divine message delivered in silence. Ibn Arabi taught that God reveals his names through creation, not just in stars and oceans, but in the mundane. He is Al-Hakim, the wise, and wisdom hides in what we overlook. He is Al-Sabur, the patient, and patience lives in the crawling of ants. So when you see them, don't just react. Reflect. What name of God might be appearing before you? What forgotten quality within you is being mirrored by their movement? Mysticism isn't about escaping the world. It's about seeing the world as it truly is, radiant with meaning. There is something strange about how signs appear. They rarely come when we expect them. They arrive when we are tired, distracted, uncertain. And that is what makes them sacred, because a true sign doesn't wait for your readiness. It meets you where you are, messy, questioning, half awake. It breaks through your plans. It interrupts your rhythm, not to punish, but to awaken. This is why Ibn Arabi says, the real does not wait for your permission to reveal itself. So if the ants came while you were busy, while you were thinking about work or scrolling through noise, they may be God's way of tapping on your shoulder, not with a shout, but with a whisper too quiet to hear with the ears. And isn't that how most transformation begins? Not in thunder, but in the quiet inconvenience that keeps returning until we finally say, "Yes, I see you." This is the hidden mercy of small things. They humble us, they slow us, and they remind us that attention is the doorway to revelation. Imagine your life as a house. Its rooms are your thoughts, its foundation, your beliefs, its walls, your boundaries, and its door, your willingness to let the divine in. When ants show up, uninvited and determined, the mystic doesn't reach for poison. He asks, "What threshold have I left unguarded?" Perhaps you've been too open to noise, to distraction, to empty consumption. Perhaps something sacred in you has been unattended, and the ants are pointing to that neglect. Ibn Arabi wrote of the states of the self, maqamat al-nafs, evolving stations of the soul. He believed the world outside always reflects the stage you are in within. So ants may appear when you are being asked to clean, to clarify, to return to vigilance. They may be whispering, "Build your house again," not just with stone, but with intention, not just with structure, but with remembrance. Because in a world this alive, even the smallest guest might be carrying a divine instruction. The mystic's gift is not in seeing what others cannot. It is in taking what others dismiss and seeing God in it. Ibn Arabi teaches that the world is full of signs, but they are not loud. They require the silence of the heart, the stillness of presence. So when ants appear, what might God be calling you to? Maybe He's inviting you to humility, to remember that greatness is not in size, but in purpose. Maybe He's reminding you of interconnection, that no soul stands alone, and even the smallest plays its part. Or maybe He's just saying, pay attention, because the spiritual path is not found only in retreats, in sacred texts, in faraway lands. Sometimes it begins at your kitchen sink, with a trail of ants, and a question whispered not in your ears, but in your soul. So the next time ants enter your space, pause. Don't rush to erase the sign. Don't rush to fix the surface. Instead, listen, not with your mind, but with the quiet space behind it. Not to the ants, but to the one who never stops speaking through all things. Ibn Arabi reminds us that every appearance is a disclosure of the divine, and that God hides not in distance, but in plain sight, waiting for hearts that see. Perhaps the ants are not visitors at all. Perhaps they are mirrors, invitations, prayers in motion. And perhaps this moment is not a disruption, but the exact doorway your soul has been waiting for. Sometimes, the smallest steps, the quietest signs, lead to the loudest awakenings. If something in this message stirred you, not just in thought, but in silence, then let this be your sign. Subscribe to Heart's Whisper and stay close to the voices that don't shout, but still change everything. What if your pain wasn't punishment, but a hidden invitation from God? What if every heartbreak, every loss, every silence was a door, not a wall? Ibn Arabi believed the names of God aren't just to be recited. They are maps, keys, mirrors, and if you learn to walk with them, you won't just survive this world, you'll rise above it. In a world of shifting illusions, where wealth, praise, and success vanish like smoke, Ibn Arabi invites us to ground ourselves in al-haq, the ever-true. Everything we chase is fleeting, but al-haq, the truth, never fades. The Quran says, everything will perish except His face. 28:88. When your heart anchors in the real, no loss can undo you. Praise doesn't lift you, insult can't shake you. You walk steady, not because the path is smooth, but because your center is unmoved. The Prophet ﷺ said, be in this world as a traveler. Ibn Arabi deepens this. This world is only a mirror. Don't fall in love with reflections. Look to the light behind them. A heart rooted in al-haq becomes like a tree drinking from a hidden spring. Storms bend its branches, but it does not break. This is the soul that remembers God, even when the world forgets itself. So begin not with fear, but with remembrance. Let your soul turn to the one who never changes. Let the name al-haq settle in your breath, and your heart will find what the world could never give. The ego craves to be seen, to be right, to possess. But Ibn Arabi teaches that the self that clings is the self that suffers. True freedom begins when the heart recognizes Al-Ghani, the one who is free of need. He is rich beyond measure, and you, in him, need nothing but him. The Prophet ﷺ said, richness is not having many possessions. True richness is the richness of the soul. When the heart mirrors Al-Ghani, it no longer begs for validation. It gives without fear, stands without pride, walks lightly on the earth. Detach, not by hating the world, but by knowing your worth isn't written in gold or applause. Let go of the illusion that you are your status or your name. You are a soul in motion, not a label on display. Ibn Arabi says the ego feeds on comparison, always looking sideways, never upward. But the one who sees through the eyes of the spirit sees only God, and in that vision, enoughness is born. You stop asking the world to fill you and begin to be filled from the source. So whisper his name, Al-Ghani. When greed rises, remember, nothing you grasp will last, but what you release may free you forever. The eyes see forms, colors, and motion, but they do not see meaning. Ibn Arabi reminds us that what is real is not always visible, and what is visible is not always real. To truly see, the heart must awaken to An-Nur, the light. Allah says in the Quran, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth, 24:35. This is not light like the sun or stars. It is the light of insight, the unveiling of truth behind appearances. An enemy may be a teacher, a loss may be mercy disguised. The Prophet ﷺ said, beware of the insight of the believer, for he sees with the light of Allah. Ibn Arabi teaches that this light enters a heart purified of envy, pride, and haste. When the veil lifts, what once seemed random reveals its purpose. The world teaches us to react. Divine light teaches us to reflect. The outer eye sees insult. The inner eye sees the speaker's pain. The outer eye sees failure. The inner eye sees redirection. This is not naivety. It is clarity refined by trust. To see with the light of An-Nur is to know every moment is a sign, every soul a mirror, every trial a message. The more you remember the source, the more meaning begins to glow through the mundane. So cleanse the lens of your soul. Let remembrance polish your vision, and let An-Nur guide you where no ordinary sight can. Pain knocks at the door without warning. Loss enters without permission. But Ibn Arabi taught that nothing arrives by accident. All is woven by Al-Latif, the subtle, the gentle. The Quran reminds us he is subtle with his servants, 42:19. Al-Latif works not through force, but through quiet turning, unseen threads, and hidden gifts. What appears as ruin may be a redirection. What breaks you may also open you. The Prophet ﷺ said, no fatigue, nor disease, nor sorrow afflicts a Muslim, but that Allah expiates some of his sins because of it. Every pain carries wisdom if the heart is soft enough to listen. Ibn Arabi calls these trials veiled compassion. The soul, when too attached, forgets its source. So the subtle hand moves gently, removing what numbs, revealing what's real. Sometimes we awaken only when shaken. The fire of trial purifies like gold in flame, but only the one who trusts the refiner will endure with hope. Al-Latif never wounds without purpose. He touches the heart in silence and transforms grief into growth. So when the night is long, whisper his name, Al-Latif, and know the softness of God hides inside even the hardest days. Time stretches in hardship. Days feel like years. Prayers echo unanswered. Yet Ibn Arabi reminds us that the divine name As-Sabur, the patient, is not just a description of God, but an invitation to mirror him. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Patience is light. It does not remove the storm, but it lets you see through it. To be patient is not to suppress pain, but to carry it with grace, trusting the one who sees what you cannot." As-Sabur delays not out of neglect, but wisdom. The fruit does not ripen before its time. The seed must rest in darkness before it blooms. Your waiting is not wasted, it is shaping you. Ibn Arabi calls this the secret stillness, a state where the heart does not panic when nothing changes. When the door remains closed, it sits in remembrance. It breathes, Hasbiya Allah. God is enough. Real patience is not passive. It is spiritual strength. It is not silence from fear, but from trust. You stop demanding when and start asking who. Who holds time, who shapes paths, who sees you fully. The answer, As-Sabur. So when the world tells you to rush, resist. Let the patience of God settle in your bones, and while you wait, grow. There is a beauty beyond form, a beauty of the soul that reflects the divine. Ibn Arabi taught that the human being, when polished by remembrance, becomes a mirror for the names of Allah. Among them is Al-Jamil, the beautiful. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Allah is beautiful and loves beauty. But this beauty is not in faces or clothes. It lives in mercy given to the undeserving, in justice upheld when it costs you, in silence that protects dignity, in forgiveness that frees the soul." Ibn Arabi saw character as the highest reflection. He wrote, "The perfect human is the one who reflects God's names completely. When you embody compassion, you reflect Ar-Rahman. When you act with wisdom, you carry Al-Hakim. When you endure with grace, you echo As-Sabur. This path is not about imitation, but transformation. You do not act kind, you become kindness. Not just patient, but patience itself. Slowly the ego thins and the soul shines through. Al-Jamil is not distant. He is the one whose beauty flows through every good deed, every gentle word, every soul who chooses light over darkness. When you reflect him, nothing external defines you. You live not in reaction, but in radiance. So live your life as a mirror. Let your being say without words, "This is what God looks like when he dwells in a heart."
وحشية ما بها أنس قد اتخذ في بيت خلوتها للذكر ناموسا قد أعجزت كل علام بملاتنا قد أعجزت كل علام بملاتنا وداوديا وحبرا ثم قيسيسا إن أومأت تطلب الإنجيل تحسبها إن أومأت تطلب الإنجيل تحسبها أقصة أو طريقا شماميسا لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد